Great pleasure and privilege to announce the winner of the 2010 Telstra Western Australian Businesswoman of the Year is Denise Goldsworthy.
Team up the back. I was talking to my great cheer squad here while we were listening to the last couple of awards, and I told them a story that I'd had a really lousy morning before the interviews for these awards. And I put on that Boston song really, really loud in the car. So when I walk off, I would really love to hear it again, if you guys can arrange it. Can be done? Can be done. Can be done. Yeah, I can do this. I've been here before. So, congratulations to everyone that is here today, in whatever your capacity is, whatever your reason is for being here. Supporting awards such as this just makes all of us stronger in whatever our journey is. And you all have different stories, all different reasons for being here. And it's just fantastic to see so many people supporting an awards process like this. Thanks again to Telstra for sponsoring these awards and arranging such a wonderful support process. The things that I'm hearing about the alumni, the business women's networks, those sorts of things are fantastic initiatives to help women in business progress in this country. I've been thinking about my journey and what got me here and what do I write differently in a second speech, and I listened to Gina. Thank you very much from your advice last night that maybe a second speech might be handy. I started my journey in industry as a 17-year-old leaving high school, joining the Newcastle Steelworks, which was owned by BHP at the time. I joined 11,000 men. It was pretty daunting in the early 80s, and I could think of so many stories around my business career that I thought might be suitable for a second speech. But I thought that probably the right speech was to talk about the second word in the title. Being a successful businesswoman is not just about creating a successful business. It's also about what we achieve as women in this world. So this time I'd like to tell you about my number one supporter, who is my daughter. On Sunday night, we were discussing these awards, and we talked about the fact that I had to prepare an acceptance speech and I wouldn't be home for dinner last night while we were preparing for these things. And she wanted to know what it was all about. She's not here today. She's in a lecture theatre somewhere over at UWA at the moment. And she wanted to know, she said, yeah, I know it'll be just like the Oscars. So you've got to thank people. And I say, okay, so who do I thank? And she said, well, you've got to thank me, of course. So I said, well, what do you want me to say about you? And she said, it's easy. Publicly announce my awesomeness to the whole world. I'd like to think that my daughter gets some characteristics from her mother, but we'll wait and see. So, at the risk of upsetting my son Aaron, who I'm also extremely proud of, I'm just going to tell you a bit about Natalie's awesomeness. I mentioned I started at Newcastle Steelworks. It's not the easiest of places to start a career. And I've been in leadership roles since essentially the kids were not born in 3. The ripe old age of 3, I came home from probably the worst working day of my life. 2 of my team members had been killed in a massive explosion. So when I got home and my husband brought home the 2 kids, I promptly burst into tears with Natalie in my arms. Now at this point she is 3. So she grabbed hold of me and said, Mum, everything is going to be all right because I'm going to look after you. And to a certain extent, she's been doing that for the last 15 years. She took on the role of chief cook at the age of 11 when I had to be away from home with work, when she declared she was tired of having takeaway every night when my husband got sick of cooking. Early in her high school years, we laughed and joked together when her and her friends tried the classic Google search to find out what people with the same names as them or their families' names had been doing. Much to Natalie's disgust, she actually found me with a Google search. But her pride in the fact that I was the only person that they actually knew that they found in that Google search was quite clear. And my pride in her is immense. When she completed high school, she was dux at her school. And instead of going off to the traditional school this week, she volunteered in East Timor. In her gap year, she achieved a scholarship to attend a school in Japan to learn the culture and the language. So to me, her success has been just as important a part of my life and creating me as I am here today as the recent successes of Dampier Salt. To be able to lead a team, to lead a business with integrity, you must practice the same skills that you use to guide your children as they grow. So to those of you in the room who think you can't have it all, you're wrong. It can be done. We can all be successful businesswomen by combining our work life and our home life. You just need to live your values, and you need to be extremely good at planning. So thank you again to everyone, in particular to Telstra and all of the sponsors for today's awards. And thank you to everyone who's not in the room but who has been there for me over the years. And I wish everyone in the room success as they strive to achieve their goals. Thank you.